Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review for Sista Season 5, Episode 3. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Before we do, if you've watched my videos before, be sure to subscribe. If you enjoy the video, like, comment, share, and subscribe at the end. Okay, so we pick up where we left off with Dani and, she walked in on Andi and Gary getting it in. So she got to get her jokes in because Gary had ran out to like Andy's room or in the bathroom or something. So Dani lets Andi know that she still hasn't heard from Sabrina. So Andy's like, okay, let me get him out of here. Let me tell him to leave. Excuse me. In the next scene, Calvin goes down to Maurice's favorite club. And we're familiar with the bartender, Chris. And he tells Calvin, he tells him everything. What Q did, that Maurice is in prison, Q set him up, all that good stuff. And Calvin is upset because Q is still in the apartment. It's the audacity for me. So Chris asks Calvin, because Calvin like, I'm about to go handle this. Chris like, do you need some help? Like, I heard about that little thing that happened way back when, like you need a little bit of help. Calvin like, what you gonna do? He was like, don't be fooled by what I got going on. Back in my boy days, I used to be a football player. So he like, okay. Calvin like, okay, Ian, okay, what do I need you for? He's like, you're right. I'm coming. So they go back to the apartment. So Calvin and Chris get there. They confront Q, who happens to be in Maurice's bed with a woman. I said, it's the nerve of it all. So Q comes out the room because Calvin like, come out, we need to talk right now. Finally, Q comes out. And Calvin was like, did you set Maurice up? And Q was like, no, why would I do that? Why would I have Maurice thrown in jail? So Calvin and Chris looking like, what? Calvin like, I ain't saying nothing about jail. Like, where did you get jail from? Q was like, look, what you gonna do about it? Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not going nowhere. You're not gonna get me out of here. Because Calvin like, you need to go. You need to just get your few belongings, put it in your trash bag, and go. Q like, please, and what you and your BIT blouse about to do about it? I ain't going nowhere. So, they get to tussling. They fighting. Eventually, Chris got to jump in because Q was getting the best of Calvin, and he breaking it up. I'm like, Chris talked all that smack. He ain't throw out one punch. So Q was like, look, he ain't leaving. He got a warm bed and a warm body. He ain't going. Now, how the half of the rent gonna get paid, I have no idea. But he ain't leaving. So Chris asks Calvin once Q walks off, like, should we call the cops? And Calvin like, that's just what y'all white people like to do. That's how y'all handle it. Chris was like, well, don't you have two white dads? I cackled at that one, like, because the first time I was like, yes, Calvin, like that, like, ooh. But Chris do got a point though. So he was like, Calvin was like, look, I'm gonna handle this. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna handle this. Is he gonna handle it? Probably not. So Andi calls the jails, and she finds out Sabrina has been arrested. And the next day, so she letting Dani know that she can't really bail her out. Like, there's really nothing they can do. Oh, this wasn't the next day. This was the same night. So she was like, look, we can't do nothing about it tonight. And Dani was like, well, Sabrina's not made for jail. No, she's not. But she's going to have to stay there tonight. And she's like, well, what are you good for? Like, you a lawyer. And Andi was like, I'm a divorce attorney. Thank goodness Tyler Perry remembered that line, because we know he like to switch up they storylines and everything from time to time. He be forgetting. But yeah, she is a divorce attorney. So, I mean, this is not her lane. So they like, look, ain't nothing you can do about it now. Dani acting like Andi don't care about her friends because she don't call them every second of every day. I don't understand that. Like, all y'all grown. Like, why do we need to talk on the phone every day? Like, if I skip a day or two, it's fine. Like, we have our own lives. We're grown women. So I felt Andi on that one. So Fatima is trying to leave for the gym because, oh my goodness, did I skip over a whole thing? Oh, but that was the episode before. Sorry, I had watched episodes 2 and 3 back to back because I ain't reviewed 2 last week. My bad. So Fatima was trying to leave for the gym. Zach wanted to talk about the Karen situation because, last week Karen done called Fatima phone and cussed her out and called her all types of whats and out of her names and everything but a child of God. So Fatima like, I don't want to talk about her. Like, I'm trying to avoid it. And she like, look, do any of my exes be showing up? Are any of my exes blowing up my phone, calling back to back, and making issues in our relationship? No. So they still talking about it. They end up talking about Fatima's cousin, and she's like, she real ruthless. She helped her with the Hayden situation, and she gonna introduce the cousin to Zach. So they blending in a little bit of like Fatima into sisters a little bit. So Calvin calls Dani. He tells her that Maurice is in jail. Then Preston calls Dani, and he like, look, I'm back in town, because she like, I thought you left to go marry the old love of your life. And he like, yeah, but I came back, so I want to see you. But she like, look, I'm busy. Her mind is focused on Sabrina right now. She just hung up on him. Then we saw Karen. Her mom made her breakfast. And she's like, I cooked you breakfast. All I saw was a little bit of scrambled eggs, and that was it. Like, not a slice of toast, no bacon, no nothing. I said, goodness, this is what you feeding a pregnant woman? I guess. But they talk about her trying to get over Zach, not really being into the pastor, and really not knowing who the father is. She just need to come to grips with the fact that, because she still speaks to Zach being the father, like as if she knows he's the father of the child. I mean, we all know it's a high probability that Aaron is the father of that baby. So Karen's mom was like, look, write down your feelings. Like, how would you feel about having them both over at the same time? You need to write your feelings down on paper, give them both a letter at the same time so you can clear the air and they can know how you feel. So Karen says she's with it. Andi sees Dani. This is the next day. She tells her that Sabrina has been charged but hasn't seen the judge. How have you been charged before seeing a judge? Is that how that works? That don't sound right. And she says they also have Maurice on tape confessing to it all. But Dani, she don't believe that. She don't even believe that. And anybody with sense would be like, okay, Maurice is clearly probably being sarcastic or whatever, so that's faulty evidence. But it's fine. Like, they still sitting in there, and there's still nothing they can really do. So Andy's like, I'm gonna call my boss. That's like the next best thing that I can do, and see what we can do next. But he in the meeting right now, so I gotta wait. And he in London, so it's gonna take a minute. So then we see Zach and we see Fatima at the gym working out, and watch Jazzy. I used to follow her on Instagram. She pulled up on him. She flirting with Zach because Zach is her landlord. I said, when did he get tenants? And what's happening? When did this come about? Did I miss something? Maybe I did. I don't know. So after she goes off, because Fatima about tired of her, then here comes Aaron. And he like, look, I'm just trying to talk to you about Karen. And, you know, he's like, whatever you can say in front of me, you can say in front of my lady. So he like, look, Karen's been stressed. She was in the hospital. And Zach was like, I know, but he don't care. And so he was like, let's just try to stop stressing her out. And he like, she the one calling my line. So he's like, look, I was just trying to talk to you because, you know, her blood pressure's high, this and that. Zach starts getting riled up. Like, he just can't stand him because he was like, look, we play basketball together. And Zach was like, we don't play ball together. We just play at the same place, at the same time, with the same ball and the same people, but we don't play together. And it was like, what's all this energy for? Like, So Aaron like, whatever, I tried. So after he walks off, Fatima was like, okay, what's that about? Like, why was you acting this way? Like, you still got feelings for Karen. And he was like, no, I have love for Karen. I told you that I always have love for her, but I don't want to be with her. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, I'm tired of us always going back and forth about this. Like, we'll be good. And then you bring it back up. Well, yeah, because she's pregnant, possibly by you as we speak. I mean, it's messy. I would have walked away a long time ago, truth be told. So they going back and forth about that. And then Zach slips up and calls Fatima Karen. And we know how Fatima is with her temper, so whoo child. But are they gonna break up? No, because they got their own spinoff. So I mean, they got to stay together. But let me know what y'all think about this episode of Sisters. Let me know if y'all watching Fatima as well down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.